know that you think you're the coolest one in town, but to me you'll be much cooler when you're 6 feet on the ground. Some of us are crazy, some are smart and brave, but it doesn't really matter, we all end up in the grave. All my favorite people are dead. All my favorite people are dead. I said all my favorite people are dead. All my favorite people are dead. All my favorite people are dead. All my favorite people are dead.
Hello, folks, and welcome to another fabulous episode of
All my favorite people are dead. Not breathing.
How are you breathers doing?
Everybody good out there?
I hope you are.
I hope they're still breathing. If not, we're going to talk about you in our next show.
That's right.
All right.
We're going to talk shit about you.
That's it, because, you know, dead men tell no tales.
That's right.
I can't get enough of that line. I'm
Well,
going to
you
use
love
that.
pirates.
I do.
That's your thing.
I don't know why. Because they're bad. They're bad guys. They steal.
You like bad boys.
I do like the bad boys. You can
Yeah.
tell from my husband. He looks like such a bad boy, doesn't he?
I mean, he seems pretty chill to me.
He looks like a poster boy for milk and white bread. So I don't know, but yeah, but I do.
Yeah.
I don't know. I did past tense,
Yeah.
tense. But I didn't marry me one of them bad boys.
That's okay.
Story for another show. If I find out, I think I have a history of dead boyfriends behind me. We can actually talk about them.
Whoa.
I do. That's a story for another time. Yeah.
Is there something you're not telling me?
There's a lot of things I'm not telling. There's a lot of things I'm not telling anybody. I joke with my mother now. I'm like, don't get on my nerves. I said, we're not in the projects anymore. Now I own 1/3 of an acre and a shovel. Don't start. Ever.
I know how to hide the body.
Yeah, and I told my neighbor, you didn't see nothing.
That's right.
So how was your week?
Oh, well, speaking of hiding bodies.
Oh, I'm sorry I asked. Okay.
No, I didn't hide a body,
Oh, good.
but I saw a blood trail on my way into work.
Where were you working, Beirut? Where were you working now?
Just my standard work location, a public library.
Yeah, and you saw a blood trail
So I'm
with no body.
I'm heading across the street. There's a sidewalk in front of the library. And I get to the sidewalk, and actually my coworker, who was also just ahead of me, she's like, "Careful, it looks like there's blood here." And I'm like, looking, and sure enough, there's these little drips of blood heading down the sidewalk. And I'm like, where does it go? Is somebody in trouble? And she's like, I don't know. So I started to follow the blood trail, and I kind of went all the way around the block, and I was like, good heavens. So then I go back, I'm like, well, where this? I could tell, I felt like a tracker in the wilderness looking for a wounded deer that I had just shot, And I'm like, well, where did the blood start? I wonder.
Okay.
So then I went the other way.
Okay.
And found this giant pile of blood.
In front of your job.
Yeah. And I was like, holy shit. But I don't know.
You don't know the story. You don't know the backstory.
First of all, the blood starts here. They're going that way. They're going in the opposite direction of the fucking hospital. So I'm like, hey.
Oh, wow. And did you find out where it ended?
No. And then it was funny because I grabbed the library security guard. And I was like, yo, dude, I
have a blood trail here.
There's this trail of blood. And he looks and he's like, that is just off library property, not my property.
Wow. Wow.
I was like, valid, but also, come on.
So that was that.
That was that. I never found out.
Where the body was, where the bleeding.
Yeah. And since then, we've had some rain and snow, and now you can't see it anymore, so it's gone.
So, goodbye forensics.
Yeah.
Wow. Not too many people get to say, found a trail of blood on my way to work today.
Right? And I was just like,
yeah,
whoa.
Wow.
So that was a little scary. Yeah.
I imagine it is.
Yeah.
Makes for a great story, but that's slightly disturbing.
A little bit.
Yeah, can't say that happens very often. I don't. What is it with you? First, you got the hearse with the horse.
Right, the horse. Yeah.
Now the trail of blood.
I'm like,
and next week you'll find entrails hanging off a tree or something.
I'm the Forrest Gump of weird shit.
Okay, you have a night.
Daily
is
basis.
that it? Is that it?
Something... Like weird stuff. I just happen to be at the right place at the right time for weird shit.
Okay. That's gonna play a role in the future of our friendship now, because I don't know how I feel about that.
But you like weird shit.
Not like that. Yeah, I do. But not like that. I don't like to come out of my job and find a blood trail. Usually I'm like, wow, let's see where this goes, Shannon.
Yeah.
Okay, Sue, let's go.
Like, why are you following that? I'm like, I'm curious.
Because that's what you do.
Because
I'm a historian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to know who died.
And we'll never know. We'll
I
never
have no
know.
idea. I don't know.
Yeah,
All I know is they were going in the wrong direction of the hospital.
They weren't coming from the hospital.
No? Well, the
Okay.
blood started
At that location.
at that location, not in front. Yeah.
And ended
so.
far, yeah.
I don't know where it
Maybe they
ended.
didn't know they were bleeding.
I mean, there was a fair amount of. It was.
Lot of blood.
Yeah. Enough
So the person knew. Nobody said it had to be a person.
Oh, what if it were like a dog or something?
God
Oh,
forbid. Yeah.
Oh, God.
I don't know. Like, somebody had a bleeding thing. I don't know. I don't know. And they were taking. I'm going to make my own backstory on this. They were
Okay.
taking. Yeah. I could rival Stephen King with the imagination I have. So. Like when my kids were little, well, Mom, what's the worst you think that can happen? You don't know the half of it, okay? I've just played all these weird scenarios
this
in
weird
my
shit,
head.
yeah.
Yeah, that the worst possible scenario. I could frighten the boogeyman at this point. Mm-hmm. So,
So on that note,
who do you want to talk about tonight?
we're going to talk about crazy rich Vanderbilt women.
Okay,
I got a couple. I think you got one.
I got one.
All right. So I figure we're going to get into this. There's a lot of crazy rich Vanderbilt women.
So I see.
A lot. And I
Yeah.
just, originally I had planned on covering a few of them, but then I'm like, we're going to be here all day.
Right.
So I'm just sticking to a mother-daughter pair.
Okay.
Alva and Consuelo Vanderbilt.
And we are in Vanderbilt territory.
We are. There's a mansion just up the road.
Right. You got the Long Island Vanderbilts, and then you got the Hyde Park Vanderbilts, where we are.
They're all over the place.
And,
yeah.
Vanderbilts everywhere. Crazy,
Yeah.
rich women Vanderbilt.
And of course, they had all these houses like up Fifth Avenue, which are now all gone.
Right.
But they were kind of all over the New
The
York.
other half. That's
Yeah.
how the other half lives, apparently.
Yeah, which is kind of wild. And all right, we're going to get into it.
All right.
Okay, breathers. So today, crazy rich Vanderbilt women.
Woohoo.
Just a few of them, not everybody, because like I said, there's a lot. Money can make you little nuts.
I'll let you know.
Yeah, right? I mean, I wouldn't know. I got nothing.
You know what? Poverty can make you nuts, too.
That is true. That is very true.
So, either way.
Now-
But if I had my choice, what's the expression? I'd rather cry on a Lamborghini than on a
Right.
bicycle.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
In a Lamborghini. So
I mean, I've already cried on a bicycle before, so crying on a Lamborghini would be all right.
sounds a lot better than crying on a Huffy, no?
Yeah. All right, so just a little background. Now, the fortune starts. Cornelius Vanderbilt,
Commodore.
the Commodore, is where it all begins. He made.
Did he hang out with Lionel Richie in the Commodores?
No, I
Wrong
think
Commodore?
it's,
Okay.
wrong,
Okay,
yeah.
just
Yeah,
Just
before
for
his time. They called him
clarification.
the Commodore because he was into steamships. That was
boats.
Yeah.
Boat guy.
So he made a ridiculous amount of money, beginning with steamboats and then venturing into railroads.
Yep.
And he pissed off a lot of people along the way.
No doubt.
Right? By playing the stocks, which is another thing that rich people do that I will never understand because I have no money. Either way, he was really good at making money and enemies. So
I think the
both
two go
things.
hand in
They really-
hand, right?
They do. They really do.
Yeah.
He was crude, rude, and barely literate, and tended to hang out with people who had questionable morals.
My kind of guy.
Yeah,
See, we go
right?
back to the bad
Like,
boys.
I kind of
Kind
feel
of
like I wanna know him.
mysterious. Yeah. Kind of nice bad boy.
So therefore, he was never accepted into high society, right? Even with all of his wealth, people were just like, "He's disgusting. He's not coming into my mansion."
There you go.
So by the end of his life, he was worth well over $105 million, which is like $3 billion today. That's
Crazy.
a lot. That's a lot of money.
Not too shabby for a questionable illiterate guy.
Right, he left 95% of that money to one son. He had 13 kids, and he left 95% of it to one of them,
Oh, gee.
William Henry Vanderbilt.
Wait, he had 13 kids?
Yeah.
So it's so funny. I was teaching today,
Okay.
and I was talking about, Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat, and all that stuff. And his father had 12 boys and a girl, 13 kids, and Joseph was the favorite, too. See? So if I ever have 13 kids, I'll favor one over the other.
Don't do that.
You don't think I should have 13
No.
kids?
Maybe 13 cats,
Okay.
but not 13 kids.
All right,
Yeah.
13 cats.
You're already halfway there.
That's true. That's so cool. Okay.
Okay, so
I digress.
William Henry Vanderbilt got all this money, right? And then he turned around and he doubled the fortune.
Oh, that
Right.
wasn't enough. I guess
Right, no.
a couple of kabillion isn't enough.
No, it's not enough. Kabillion?
I don't know.
I like that.
Kabillion?
That
Does
sounds
that
good.
come after
Yeah.
a billion, million,
I don't
kabillion?
know. Kabillion. I like it.
I don't know. I can't count that high with all those zeros.
I have a kabillion dollars.
I don't know. If I have $10 in my wallet, I'm a happy camper.
Yeah, exactly. So the first generation makes the money. The
That's easy for you to say.
Second generation doubled the money, and the third generation spent it.
Okay.
That's the generation I want to be a part
There you
of.
go. There you go. The fun family.
Yeah. One of the biggest spenders was actually a woman who married into the Vanderbilts.
Always.
And she wanted to raise the family up in society.
By pissing away all the money.
Exactly. Out of the muck which Cornelius left them in. And if you guys heard that, it was just Sue taking out her anger on a microphone.
I'm just playing with stuff here because that's how I roll.
Okay. So,
Ding.
So I'm going to start with Alva Vanderbilt.
Alva!
Alva!
Oh, no, wait. She's
Alva!
not. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. She's a chipmunk. Alva! Did she want a hula hoop? Wow. Alva! Oh, good. I made you laugh.
No, yeah, you always do.
I know. I'm a happy little
of course,
moron.
I'm easy.
Yeah, and I'm a happy little moron. There we go.
Oh, yeah, me
That's
too.
why we work well together.
Okay, so Alva, your skin. Alva, your skin Smith.
Not my skin, your skin.
No, your skin.
Wait. If she was Jewish, she would be foreskin. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I'm on a roll. I'm hot tonight.
You are.
All right.
What did you smoke before we started?
Catnip. I rolled the catnip and oregano in the Sunday funnies.
Nice.
That's why I have newsprint all over my face. So, wow.
Woo! Okay.
Alrighty.
Alva Smith, we're going to skip the middle name, was born in Mobile, Alabama, January 17th, 1853.
Okay.
She was the daughter of Maury Ferb Smith, a merchant, and Phoebe Desha. She spent some of her early years living in a plush southern mansion.
Oh, like me.
You know, like...
Like I did in Brooklyn, yeah.
Yeah, in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Where her family, they owned slaves.
Oh, nice.
Whom she apparently enjoyed terrorizing as a young
Oh,
child.
no, okay, nice. Oh, there we go. Okay.
She was,
a bitch?
A bit, yeah. She
Okay.
was a real see you next Tuesday.
Okay, there you go.
Okay.
Wow. Nice girl.
As a child, and during the rest of her life, she, quote, I lost no chance to assert my masterful position. And this didn't just apply to slaves and servants, by the way.
Oh,
no.
jeez. Okay.
This bitch would quickly learn how to get her way with literally everyone.
Pull the wings off butterflies
Yeah, kind
and
of thing,
nice. Okay,
Yeah.
I get the idea here.
She also made her parents' life a living hell, right? Because her mother took a horsewhip to her on several occasions, but Alva said it didn't bother her. She enjoyed a good whipping.
Oh, wow. Alrighty. Go Alva.
She preferred the company of boys and was a bit of a tomboy herself, doing whatever she wanted, even if it was considered unladylike as a child.
Oh,
So,
all right.
yeah,
Well,
I mean, I get that.
all right. I climb trees. But,
I was a tomboy as a girl, but
Yeah.
I didn't beat up any enslaved individuals.
no.
When she was 6, her family moved to New York City, and by this time she was living with her moved to New York City. And then by the time she was 12, she lived with her mother and sisters in Paris for a bit, where she learned to enjoy the Parisian lifestyle. She was sent to a formal girls' school in Paris, but like most things in her life, she didn't follow the rules and pretty much did whatever she wanted, including terrorizing and playing pranks on her fellow students. And she quickly was sent home.
Nobody wanted to be Alva's roommate.
Nobody wanted to hang out with
All
her
right.
at all.
So she got tired of picking on Americans and said, now I'll go pick on the Parisian
I'll go
people.
pick on the Parisians and
Nice.
the English
and anybody
who
else.
anyone else who's there.
Spoiled brat
Yeah.
running out of control.
Oh, yeah. She was actually upset that she was sent home because she enjoyed her lawless existence and reigning supreme at the school.
Gee, wow. Talk about full of yourself.
Oh, yeah. The family came back to New York in 1870, and her mother died a year later.
She killed her?
Yeah, so all the stress killed her, yeah.
Show you that horsewhip, Mom.
Yeah, exactly. Her mother, after her mother died, it seems that her father, who clearly didn't have the same killer instinct as Alva, started to fail financially. And the family was heading into the wrong direction of ruin.
Oh, wow.
Around this time, Alva met grandson of Cornelius Vanderbilt. So he's part of that second or the third generation that spends the family money. Now, he has a lot of education, charm, morals, and is honestly a lot better looking than his grandfather. 1875.
How could he fall in love with her? He sounds like a nice guy, and she's like a wild
I think
Piece
he
of
kind of
garbage.
liked the wild.
He liked
it.
like me with the bad boys.
He liked it for a hot second. I
There
think
you
after
go.
he got married, he was like, what did I do? So, at first, they lived comfortably in a 44th Street brownstone. And that had been given to him by his father, Willie's father. They were wealthy, but only by association, right? Because he didn't really quite have his own wealth yet, his father's wealth, right?
Oh, okay.
That all changed when the Commodore died in January of 1877 and left William K. Vanderbilt $3 million.
Okay.
Not bad.
Chump change.
They purchased 900 acres on Long Island near the town of Islip and hired Richard Morris Hunt to design and supervise the building of an English Tudor-style country house, intended to serve as a hunting lodge.
Naturally.
They named it Idle Hour. Alva actually oversaw the entire project. She loved working with Richard Morris Hunt, even though she said they had a lot of battles together. They were kind of on and off, fighting, bickering over the architecture, over the style.
So she fought everybody over everything.
Yeah. I'm sure she was a real joy to work for. Now, there was this one instance where he actually snapped back at her and he said, Mrs. Vanderbilt, who is building this house?
And she goes, me.
And she said, Mr. Hunt, who is going to be living in this house?
Yeah, I can.
Which is a valid point. It is. Right?
Yeah, but to an extent, you're not an architect. You know,
No,
I mean,
but
you give input,
but every project she ever works on, she is like in all the way.
all in. Yeah.
So she works with Richard Morris Hunt on a lot of projects, actually. So she insisted on keeping him on even before Idle Hour was finished. She insisted on the two of them beginning work on a house in New York City.
Okay.
Now, she hated the brownstone house that they had. She hated all New York City houses, for that matter, and how they all looked the same.
Of course.
Right?
Okay.
She wanted a big fucking castle.
Who doesn't?
So at 660 Fifth Avenue, that's where they built it.
Wait, not 666? 660.
right? You'd think.
That would have been a little more hostile, you
Yeah,
think?
it would, yeah.
All right, just saying, just
But
putting that out there.
Just ever so slightly.
Just
to the
deviate
side,
a little, yeah.
As construction began, she headed off to Paris to look into buying treasures to fill the interior. While people back in New York were questioning her sanity as this giant castle was springing up from the ground like it was some chateau from the 18th century France.
I think I'll go to Paris. They're not using the Eiffel Tower.
Right,
I think
yeah.
I'll put that on my lawn.
Oh yeah, why not?
You know,
Absolutely.
they're not. The French aren't using
They don't
it.
even like it.
Yeah, they don't. What else can I bring back? The Louvre,
Yeah,
perhaps?
let's bring back some art from the Louvre.
There you
Yeah,
go.
What the hell? Construction began in 1878 and was completed in 1882. It was actually demolished in 1927. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But it was the first of its kind, the first chateau-esque style house in New York City. All of the Vanderbilts soon wanted what she had created, and several other mansions started to pop up along Fifth Avenue, all because of Alva and her vision.
Go Alba,
Right?
head of
Okay.
our time.
Yeah. Now, she was focused on getting big names in New York City to know her name. And she wanted to be a part of the new celebrity culture that was beginning to form.
Yeah.
The best way to do that, back then, and really today too, is to throw a massive, super expensive party.
Well,
Right?
that's what happens now.
That's what you got to do. Get your
Yeah.
name out there. Let's throw a
Have
huge
a big party.
Which is exactly what she did in her brand new mansion in March of 1883.
Break it in.
She held a giant costume ball for 1,000 guests.
Just 1,000?
Just 1,000,
Oh.
yeah. Which was a lot more than Mrs. Astor's 400, right?
Of course it
The
was.
400 Club, the most important people in New York City. That's how much her ballroom can hold is 400, right?
Well, now she's going to double it and then some. I'll
Alva's
show
like,
you, Mrs. Astor.
I got 1,000.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
How you like me now, Mrs. Astor?
Exactly.
Yeah,
And we're
there
going to
you
get
go.
into that, actually. This was the most lavish, most ridiculous, most expensive thing that New York City had ever seen. All of the newspapers were writing about it. Everyone wanted to be invited. It was Alva's triumph.
Good for her.
One of the big things that Alva wanted from this ball was to be accepted into Mrs. Astor's notable High Society 400. Now, Mrs. Astor had still not shown any respect towards Alva, or any Vanderbilts for that matter. The story goes that, like all marriageable young ladies, Mrs. Astor's daughter, Carrie, was anxiously awaiting her invitation.
Yeah.
And even began practicing dances for the ball. She was all excited. She's getting ready to buy her a costume. She's like,
Yeah.
I am going to this.
Until
Until then the unthinkable happened. All of her friends got their invitations, and she never got hers.
Roasted. Uh-oh.
So
No
young
Carrie.
she was like, nah.
Oh, no, you didn't. Why didn't you
Mom.
invite me?
Fix this, Mom, now. I could just see like a rich, bratty teenager going, Mom? Oh my fucking God.
Yeah.
You know?
Everybody's invited but me.
Mom, do something about it, Mom.
Make it right.
Yeah. So Alva claimed that she could not possibly invite the young Miss Astor since Mrs. Astor never called on the Vanderbilt home. So
There you go.
Mrs. Astor really had no choice
But
to drop by.
bring her a little plate of cookies.
Well, not quite. She brought a visiting card. She left her card.
She didn't bring Jell-O
at
or
660 Fifth Avenue. Right. Thus, formally,
Swiss fudge cookies.
she formally acknowledged the Vanderbilts
Yes,
that way.
yes. Uh-huh.
Now, the Astor's invitation was received the very next day. So there you go. Apparently, there were people at this party just as rich and crazy as she was. You may or may not like this. Actually, this I don't know. You might dig it. You might not.
Uh-oh.
There was a lady there. Her name was Miss Kate Fearing Strong.
Okay.
Her nickname was Puss, and she was dressed in a dress made partially from cats.
Yeah, I'm not liking that there, Shannon.
She had real cat tails sewn into her dress.
Okay.
And her headpiece was literally a head of a cat stuffed.
Why? Okay. Ew. Why?
You want to see? I have
No.
You don't want to see the picture?
No.
I got a picture. No.
You know, I'm one of the ones that, like, when I see somebody wearing a fur coat, I'm all over them.
Okay.
And I'm like, you want to see how your coat was made, bitch? I'm part of the red paint thrown on fur coat people. So
She actually even wore a thick...
that's disgusting.
She had a thick black collar around her neck with the word puss on it.
That's disgusting.
And it looked like the collar that was on the cat's head that was on her head.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm telling you, the people do weird shit when you have too much money.
I'll let you know. Crazy rich people. I guess that's eccentric. I guess when you're poor and you're crazy, you're just nuts.
Yeah.
When you're rich and you're crazy, you're eccentric and it's acceptable.
I guess.
I guess. So, I don't know, skinning cats and, wearing them to the costume. I mean, I've come dressed as a cat to a party. I have cat
sure,
headphones in my hair.
But it's not made of literal cat.
No.
Okay.
Alrighty then.
Moving on from the
Ew.
cat bits.
Yeah.
This ball cost over $250,000 in 1883. That's almost $6 million today.
Okay.
$6 million for one
a party.
fucking party.
For a party.
This included $65,000 for champagne.
Of course.
$11,000 for flowers. Needless to say, Alva was officially a celebrity.
I imagine.
So then she went on to commission the world's largest private yacht
Of course.
and a small summer cottage in Newport, which still stands today. By the way, it's not a fucking cottage. Marble House, as it is known. Another project she worked on with Richard Morris Hunt is a 54-room palace.
That's a cottage.
That's a Vanderbilt cottage.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it is,
Yeah. Now, when she wasn't building mansions...
Oh, well, she had extra time.
Yeah. She was raising children. She had 3
How'd
children.
that work for her? Sounds like a dream mother. I don't know. She sounds like, type of mother I can only hope to be.
We're
I can imagine.
Yeah.
She sounds like a dream.
Yeah. No. So she had 3 kids.
One of each.
One of each. in 7 years. My brain hurts now. Thanks. Consuelo in March of 1877. William Kism Jr. About 18 months later.
And foreskin.
No! No.
Sorry,
I
but
can't.
I'm
I can't.
Yeah, he grew up to be a moil.
And Harold Sterling in July of 1884. Okay. She claimed to focus on their lives and upbringing.
Oh, I bet.
More so than anything else in her life.
I bet.
We are only going to focus on her daughter, right, Consuelo, because after all, this is crazy rich Vanderbilt women, not men.
Okay.
Now, interestingly, these 2 women, mother and daughter, would both write their own autobiographies later. And both of them had a very clear idea of what their relationship was to one another, and neither of them match up. Okay.
Well, everybody sees it from their own point of view. It's possible that there's some truth, but, if you ask my daughter, she'll probably give you a version of me that I wouldn't give.
Sure.
And I'm sure my mother would give yet a third version of me that doesn't exist. But,
You got lots of personalities, too.
Oh, don't I really? Yeah, I bet.
One biographer said that Consuelo's description of her childhood reads like a variation on the story of Cinderella.
Oh.
Complete with a young, beautiful, but passive heroine who lived in a castle, an overbearing, terrifying, and malevolent mother figure, a loving and generous but weak-willed, largely absent father, stepsisters in the form of servants, tutors, and governesses, and a prince or two in shining armor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
The only figure that is conspicuously missing is the fairy godmother. That's not there. Okay, so while Alva, on the other hand...
Why do you need a fairy godmother when you're a billionaire?
You've got Alva.
Yeah, you don't need one of those.
Alva's goal for her daughter was to prepare...
World domination.
Yeah, world domination. That's one, yep. And to prepare her daughter for marriage and a life dedicated to philanthropy and public service.
Yeah, okay.
But it never occurred to her that Consuelo might find fulfillment and a place for herself in public life as a single woman of means.
Okay.
No.
Well, that didn't happen
never,
back then.
No, that
well,
does
I don't
not
think that
happen.
occurred to anybody back
No,
then.
Doesn't happen. Nevertheless, Alva made sure that Consuela stayed at home and was privately tutored, whereas her brothers were allowed to go to school. She also made her daughter wear a steel rod on her back to make sure that she didn't slouch.
She didn't shove a stick up her ass to make sure, that's usually what I thought they would do.
It did not go up her ass. No.
Yeah.
But close.
Book on your head.
Well, that would work too, right?
Yeah,
But
that's a lot
this
better.
Steel rod was literally strapped at her, I believe, her waist, over her shoulders, and across her forehead.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
not like torture or anything, right?
No,
Just to have a stick up your back.
Yeah, just up your backside.
Okay.
I'm sure that doesn't cause any back problems later on. Or
No,
anything.
nothing like
no.
that to keep you hoisted like a
Right.
like a sail on a boat. Yeah, that sounds good, really good.
But
with the corset and everything.
Yeah, corset, yeah. In
Yeah,
the
that-
words of Tom Petty, though, she grew up tall and she grew up right?
There you go. Yeah, well, she grew up tall.
Yeah, she did. And if you see pictures, I mean, she's beautiful. There's no doubt about it. In her
Okay.
photo, she's beautiful. And her neck is like, like it is up there.
Like one of those women with the rings where the neck is like giraffe-like.
Yeah,
Wait, let me see.
The middle photograph right up top.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, for those of you who can't see, Shannon just handed me a book about Vanderbilt women, and in the middle picture, she looks like she's got this crown. Her neck looks like one of those like people that you see with all the bracelets around the neck,
Yeah.
like stretching the neck. That's just like ridiculous.
And you know that's like, like
painful.
special jewels. It probably weighs a ton, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So,
That's fair to you, kid.
no, thank you. I think I'll stick
Whatever
with my...
happened to saying, don't slouch?
Yeah, no. I think I'll just keep slouching the rest of my life.
Yeah.
That's fine. She was known to whip her child whenever she did misbehaved, kind of like the slaves,
Back
Back
to the horsewhip.
Yeah. Alva once told Consuelo on one occasion that the child had... When Consuela had the nerve to disagree with her mom, God forbid,
yeah,
she
don't
spoke
do that.
up.
Don't do that.
She apparently slapped her and said, "I'll do the thinking. You'll do as you're told."
That's nice.
Right?
All right.
Mother of the year.
There you go.
Look, I'd be like, "Mom, I don't care how much money you have. I'm out of here." I'd be like, "I'm gone."
But back then, where do you go?
Yeah,
It
exactly.
wasn't.
It's not that easy back then.
Yeah, back then it was a totally different thing for a
Right.
woman to not have access to
Yeah.
her finances,
Yeah.
and you're under somebody's thumb, and especially with a control freak like Alva running around.
Yeah.
That must suck.
So now Alva was out shopping for a royal husband with an English title like Duke or Lord or whatever. Those sort of titles that Americans can't have because of our Constitution, that pesky document. Right.
Oh, okay.
So why would she do this, you might ask? Why does she need her daughter to marry an English lord? Right.
To have a title.
Exactly. But also
That was common back then. You marry an American to a British guy who's got like lord or whatever, but he can't afford his upkeep, and they marry into American, money.
But here's the thing: she's already got money. So what's the reason? There's a reason.
That she wants a title?
Yes. There's another reason.
Because she doesn't have it.
No.
Because it's the only thing she doesn't own.
No, because
No?
in March of 1895, Alva divorced her husband.
Oh, they could do that back then?
Well, that was a first. In that society.
She
group,
divorced him?
She divorced him.
He didn't divorce her.
She
You figure he would have had enough of this crap.
she is essentially, he was having a couple of affairs on the side.
Didn't they all?
Is what, that's what they did.
That's what
right.
all rich, crazy
But
guys
she, being Alva, being the woman she was like, I'm not fucking taking this.
do. All right, well,
So-
you can't blame her on that.
She divorced him, which in high society, that's it. You're kicked out. You divorce your husband, you're kicked out.
Right,
You're,
that's
you're
what I
done.
thought. So she did it anyways.
Yeah. So
right.
so she was she was like, all right, if I want to keep my name in high society, I got to get my daughter a title.
Okay.
So that at least I will have that under my belt. Right?
Oh.
Yeah.
Who knew?
Now, little did Alva know that Consuela was falling in love with an American socialite named Winthrop Rutherford. Mm-hmm. But when Alva heard about this, she immediately locked her daughter up in her room.
Like Rapunzel.
Yep. And threatened her she was going to...
With a second rod.
Yeah, well, yeah, essentially. She said she would murder Rutherford if she tried to elope with him. That's what Alva said.
I'll kill him.
I will
literally.
kill him.
I will literally
kill
not
him.
like we joke about
Yeah.
it. She's like, and she probably would have.
She probably would have. She would have hired a henchman or something
That's it.
to kill this guy.
That's scary stuff.
So finally, Alva threw a huge tantrum and basically faked a heart attack, telling her daughter that she was going to cause her death if she didn't marry the man that she had chosen, which was Charles Richard John Spencer Churchill, the 9th Duke of Marlborough.
Naturally.
So Consuelo finally agreed to marry him. And then, wouldn't you know it, Alva made a miraculous recovery.
Oh, it's a miracle.
The morning of the wedding.
Oh.
My heart is healed.
Oh, how nice. It's a
look at that.
miracle.
So, do you think this marriage worked out?
No.
No, not by
How
one
could it?
shot. Both Consuelo and Charles had several
Sounds like a
affairs.
love story. Oh, yeah. It
Right?
sounds great. Right then from the get-go.
The morning of the wedding, like...
He was having an affair.
No. She was locked in her room, Consuelo. Her mother had her locked in the room
Until the
with a
wedding.
guard at the door
Okay.
so that she couldn't escape before the
bolt.
wedding.
Yeah, she couldn't bolt.
Yeah.
Sounds like a dream, made
Right.
in heaven.
Right.
And yeah, how could a marriage like that not last?
Right,
I don't get
Yeah,
it. That sounds so
yeah.
romantic. I read that on a Hallmark card once.
Look, I'm not gonna lie though. Like when she married, you marry the Duke of Marlborough, you get to live in Blenheim Palace. I fucking love Blenheim Palace, and that thing is so large. I'm like, look, you stay on that side, I'll stay over here. We never have to see each other ever, literally ever, because that's how big that castle is.
Yeah.
I love Blenheim. I'm sorry.
I'm sure. Okay. No, I'm sure.
It's beautiful. Like your garden's over there, my garden's over here. Fuck off.
All right. Hey, everybody needs their space.
So, but anyway, I digress. So,
Okay.
so they get married.
I don't even have my own bathroom. I don't know. So, all right.
Yeah, your own bathroom, your own servants, you're
You're pretty much your own country.
Yeah,
It's
right.
like in 2 different zip codes.
Yeah, pretty much. It's a
So
huge,
how do you
huge property.
fight when you never see each other?
I know, right?
And you
Anyway,
walkie-talkie.
it doesn't work. Well, they're both having affairs on the side. Both,
Well, obviously they don't know the other one's there.
Right, exactly.
I thought I had a husband. I don't know. I think I left him in the East Wing. Forget it. Who's that guy?
Who's that guy? Come on over here. Now, they did have 2 sons, but it was rumored that the younger son looked a lot more like Winthrop Rutherford, her old boo, than the Duke.
It looked like the UPS guy. That's what we looked
Yeah, right. So both Consuelo and Charles ended up remarrying, right?
Okay, so they got divorced too.
Yeah, they got divorced, yeah.
Who did she marry after that?
We're going to talk about that a little
Okay,
bit.
Lord, Prince, Earl, no.
Just a standard average guy, an aviator. No. Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
What happened to Alva and her heart attack? How'd she let that one
So
get past?
Alva, that was just fine. Alva's good.
She's
Everything's
fine. She lives to be 120.
Alva
She's good.
ends up remarrying.
Of course she does.
Now, on January 11th, 1896...
Did she marry somebody with a title too?
Not a title, but a good chunk of money.
Okay.
She married a man named Oliver Hazard Perry Belmont.
Hazard?
Hazard. Oliver Hazard
Was
Perry.
he a hazard to her health?
Oliver Hazard Perry, the actual Oliver Hazard Perry, was a famous naval officer.
I don't give a crap. First of all, never marry a man who's got the word hazard.
No, but this
in
marriage
his
works
name.
out. This
But
marriage
his
is
name
fine.
is Hazard. You'd have to change your name. You need insurance policy
You
against
said-
this guy.
You said you like bad boys. Hazard sounds like a bad boy.
There you go.
Right?
There you
Come
go.
on.
He's a hazard. Mom, somebody named Hazard will be calling.
Yes.
Really? Okay, that sounds benign. Yeah.
So Oliver Hazard Perry Belmont. That's the name that's most important. Belmont. There's money there.
Yeah.
He had just he's a character. He had deserted his first wife while they were on their honeymoon.
Wow, he didn't even wait till the honeymoon was over.
He left the honeymoon and went to go hang out with a dancer in France. He was like,
Oh,
nah.
that's the kind of guy you want to marry.
Right? Nice, huh?
Yeah, he sounds good. Okay.
So they actually enjoyed life for a while, Alva and Oliver.
They got past the honeymoon.
Yes, they did. They got
Okay,
past the
that's good.
honeymoon. They had lovely houses, lovely life. But sadly, in 1908, Alva's husband, her second husband, died at the age of 50. So she didn't have him for long, sadly. But Alva now has both a divorce settlement from William, her first husband, plus Belmont's huge fortune, which included several additional mansions to add to what she already had.
Because she didn't have enough.
She is sitting pretty.
You know, when you have like 4 houses, you put up a hotel, like in Monopoly.
Yeah.
You know, that's what she's doing.
She's good. Yeah.
All right.
So now, after Mr. Belmont's death, Alva actually became a major supporter, both financially and vocally, for the women's suffrage movement. She helped to establish the Political Equality League in 1909. She spoke at rallies and labor strikes and befriended women like Emmeline Pankhurst and Alice Paul.
All right.
In fact, Alice would sometimes live with Alva in one of her mansions on Long Island.
Okay.
Which is a lot cozier than the jail cells that her fanatical devotion to the movement had landed her in, right?
Jail cell, big fancy mansion.
Yeah, I'll take it. So in 1916, Alva and Alice Paul started the National Women's Party, and Alva pretty much paid for everything, including purchasing an old building in Washington, D.C., the old Seawall House. And she handed over $100,000 in cash, like it ain't no thing, just to help out this cause.
Because to her it wasn't.
She's just like, well, okay.
Chump change.
Yeah, nothing. After women had won the right to vote, Alva moved to France. And in 1926, she purchased and restored...
France?
France. Yeah, back to France she goes. Yeah.
She purchased France.
She's purchasing France, yeah. She purchased and restored a 16th century chateau, d'Agleville, and used it as a residence for the rest of her life. Okay. She also did the very American thing to do and installed a bowling alley on the property.
I'm sure the French people love that.
It was one of the first bowling alleys in France, actually.
I'm sure.
She died in France on January 26, 1933, at the age of 80. Now, Consuela ended up living in various lovely mansions in both New York and Florida with her second husband, an aviator named Jacques Balsan.
What is it with these people and aviators? They both married aviators?
No. This is Alva married. Belmont wasn't an aviator. He was just a wealthy guy. So Consuela,
he was a hazard. This one's an aviator.
Hazard.
Okay,
the hazard.
Okay, I got it now. Okay. I got confused for a minute. I get bewildered.
It's okay. There's a lot of names flying around here. So Jacques,
flying aviator.
Jacques Balsan.
Balsamic? What was that?
Balsam.
Balsam, not balsamic. That's a vinegar. All right.
Right. They remained very happily married.
Oh, wow.
And also, she ended up writing a book, The Glitter and the Gold, in 1953, which she painted herself as a tragic princess of the Gilded Age.
Aww.
She died on December 6th, 1964, at the age of 87. So there you go. There's my 2 crazy Vanderbilt ladies.
You know, I think any people, when you have money and power, how could it not go to your head?
Right.
I mean, I don't know, because I don't have either one.
Ever.
But, you know, especially if you're born into it, and you're born into the lap of everything with a silver spoon and all that shit, how can you not want to keep that lifestyle?
Uh-huh.
I guess being poor is like a terrifying thing.
Sure.
But... all right, so my gal, Gloria Vanderbilt.
All right.
She's the one she's the designer that took her family's good name and put it on every ass in America.
Sweet.
I think yesterday I was wearing a pair.
Nice.
It was on my ass. But we all know her affectionately as Anderson Cooper's mom.
Yes.
Okay? So now, Gloria Laura Vanderbilt, born February 20th, 1924 in Manhattan. The only child of railroad heir Reginald Claypool Vanderbilt of the Vanderbilt family and his second wife, Gloria Morgan Vanderbilt. She passed June of 2019 in New York City. She was an American artist, an author, an actress, a fashion designer, heiress, socialite, yada, yada, right? All those good things. So her father died from cirrhosis when she was about 18 months old, and she and her half-sister became heiresses to a half share each of about $5 million in the trust fund, the equivalent pretty much of $77 million in value.
Whew,
just a little, you know.
Just a little smidge, yeah.
Just, you know, again, chum change, okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Now, the control of Vanderbilt's share while she was a minor belonged to her mother, who traveled to and from Paris for years, taking her daughter with her, all right? They were accompanied by a nanny named Emma, so now, you go here, the mother's, this is the story we all know and love. Her mother's identical twin sister, Thelma, she was originally the lover of the Prince of Wales, who later became Edward VIII during that time.
Yes, I've heard that one.
Okay, and then, you know, later on that whole thing, that's a episode for another time.
Sure.
But that whole episode there, that was her mother's identical twin. Okay. As a result of her spending habits, her mother's use of finances was scrutinized by Gloria's paternal aunt, Gertrude Vanderbilt Whitney, who was a sculptor and a philanthropist, and Whitney wanted custody, which resulted in this huge, sensational custody trial for children in which her mother, Gloria, and her paternal aunt, Gertrude, each sought custody and control over her trust fund. It was called the trial of the century by the press. The court proceedings were the subject of wide and sensational press coverage due to the wealth and the prominence of both involved parties, the scandalous evidence presented to support Whitney's claim that Gloria was an unfit parent.
Yeah.
She's spending and she's doing this, and the trial was so scandalous that at times the judge would make everyone leave the room to listen to what the young Vanderbilt had to say without anybody influencing her.
Wow.
Okay,
Wow.
They heard weeping and wailing in the courtroom. Testimony was heard depicting Vanderbilt's mother as an unfit parent because of an allegation that she had a lesbian affair with a maid and a member of the British royal family. I mean, Vanderbilt's mother eventually lost the battle, and Vanderbilt became the ward of her Aunt Gertrude.
Okay.
Litigation continued. Vanderbilt's mother was forced to live on a drastically reduced portion of her daughter's trust, which was worth about $4 million at the end of 1937.
So she had spent down?
She had spent down. It was like the equivalent of $75 million in 2021, but the mother was still spending, and between that and the allegations and everything, the kid had to go to the aunt. Yeah. All right. Visitation was also closely watched to ensure that Vanderbilt's mother didn't exert any undue influence on her daughter with her, lifestyle. Mm-hmm. So Vanderbilt, it wasn't so bad for Gloria.
Wait. They were afraid she was going to turn into a lesbian.
That's right. That's right. Her mother was going to influence her and turn her gay.
I don't think that's how it works.
No, you don't think so?
No.
Yeah, well, back then that's what they thought.
Oh.
Yep, that's what happens. She was raised in luxury at her Aunt Gertrude's mansion in Old Westbury, Long Island, surrounded by cousins her age who lived in houses circling the vast estate and in New York City. So now Gloria begins her career as a fashion model when she's about 15, appearing in Harper's Bazaar. Now in the 70s, you have this whole fashion revolution here, right?
Yes.
Vanderbilt herself ventures into the fashion business, first with Glentex, licensing her name and a collection of her paintings for a line of scarves.
Oh, she's an artist.
Yeah, she was an artist, she was a sculptor, she was very creative.
I've never seen any of her artwork, have you?
No, but again, I wear her pants because I just bought like 2 or 3 pair, and they're still in Kohl's. Like recent, and they're beautiful. They're they have all these prints, and some are capris, and I like the cut, I like the fit.
All right.
So
good.
That's as far as I've gotten.
Okay.
In 1976, Indian designer Mohan Murjani's corporation proposed launching a line of designer jeans carrying Vanderbilt's signature embroidery on the back pocket, as well as her swan logo, which is the logo on all her pants.
Okay.
Her jeans were more tightly fitted than other jeans of the time and were an immediate success with customers. Now, I remember, everything was Jordache or Sassoon, and then Gloria came in, and they fit you pretty good. Again, I'm still wearing them, right?
Yeah.
Okay. In 78, Vanderbilt sold the rights to her name to the Murjani Group and relaunched her own company, GB Limited, which she founded in 76. With her company, she now launched dresses and blouses, sheets, shoes, leather goods, liquors, accessories, you name it. She launched it. In the period from 82 to 2002, L'Oreal launched 8 fragrances under the brand name of Gloria Vanderbilt. It was during this time that did I tell you this? I met Gloria Vanderbilt.
Oh, really? Okay.
I went to Macy's or one of them, and she was launching a fragrance.
Oh, wow.
And I stood in line to meet her, and she had her hair with that little fall that came up, almost like Mary Tyler Moore had, at that time with the little flip. The flip. And I waited online to meet her. She was lovely.
Oh.
I stood in line. Oh, what's your name, dear? And I told her my name. I've met certain, other celebrities, or sports people, and not all of them are. She held up the line. She was just so nice. I was like, "Oh, Mrs. Vanderbilt, so nice to meet you. Well, thank you for waiting, dear." She wrote my name on the thing. I have to find it. So she was just the nicest lady launching the fragrance. Yeah, she was just really, really nice.
It's really nice when you meet a nice celebrity and just like.
I met, what
warm
was her
person.
name? Lauren Tews from The Love Boat. Do you remember her? She was, okay, you don't remember. The Love Boat was a show when dinosaurs roamed the planet.
I never saw it, but I know what you're talking about.
Oh, you're not missing nothing. So I had met her. She was launching something also, and I waited in line, and I went to meet her. She was the nastiest SOB.
Oh, dear.
And she did me a favor, like signs. So you know me, I have to say something. Like if the waiting, and she was yelling at everybody to get coffee, and she was like rude to me. She did me. She like signed it and threw it at me, and so of course I got annoyed because I was waiting an hour, and I said to her, I really love you as Chrissy in Three's Company, which was not her. That was Suzanne Summers. Just to, and she gave me a look, and I handed her the thing back that she signed, and I walked away. Because I was just so annoyed that she was so rude. Yeah, she really was. Not nice to me. I don't know what happened with that woman. Maybe she was having an off day. Gloria Vanderbilt was nice to everybody, and I waited in line to get the fragrance, the whole bit. She was lovely.
Oh.
So
That's cool.
that was my experience with her.
Right.
Okay, so they launched fragrances under the name Gloria, and Merjan sold the rights to the name Gloria Vanderbilt to the owners of the Gitano Group in 1988. However, the Jones Apparel Group acquired the rights to her jeans in 2002, and now there's a fraud trial, right? In the 80s, Vanderbilt accused her former partners and her lawyer of fraud. There was another, here we are in court again. After a lengthy trial, during which the lawyer dropped dead, it was that long, the lawyer even died, Vanderbilt won and was awarded nearly $1.7 million. But the money was never recovered. Not that she needed, right? Like 1.7 to her is like a quarter to you and me. Yeah. She was awarded $300,000 by the New York Bar Association and yada yada. Okay. She also owed millions of dollars in back taxes since the lawyer never paid the IRS, and she was forced to sell her Southampton, New York, and Upper East Side homes.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
So she wasn't doing that well.
No, no. She studied art at the Art Students League of New York. She became known for her artwork with a one-woman exhibition that held all of her oil paintings and her watercolors and her pastels. I'm not that familiar with I only know clothing.
Okay.
Her first exhibition was held in 1948. The artwork was adapted and licensed starting in 1968 by Hallmark Cards.
Oh.
Yeah, and Vanderbilt began designing specifically for linens and pottery and glassware and scarves, and she had all this pretty stuff.
I kind of want to look up her artwork. Let's see.
In 2001, she returned to art, opened her first exhibition called Dream Boxes at the Southern Vermont Art Center in Manchester. It was a critical success. She launched another exhibition of 35 paintings at the Art Center in 2007. 2 years later, Gloria returned to the Art Center as a panelist for the annual Fall Show exhibition, signing copies of her latest novel called Obsession, an erotic tale. Ooh.
It's very colorful.
She was very creative. She very expressive, very creative.
It's very colorful work. I kind of like it.
She wrote books on art and home decor, 4 volumes of memoirs, 3 novels, a collection of short stories, all this good stuff.
Okay.
In January of 17, HarperCollins Publishers released a book co-authored by her and her son, Anderson Cooper. Mm-hmm. The Rainbow Comes and Goes, a mother and son on life, love, and loss. The book was described by the publishers as a touching and intimate correspondence between Anderson Cooper and his mom, Gloria Vanderbilt, offering timeless wisdom and a revealing glimpse into their lives. Through a series of conversations between the mother and the son, talking about life and family history in the public eye. Mm-hmm. She was married 4 times, divorced 3 times, gave birth to 4 sons, had many other relationships. In 41, at 17, she went to Hollywood. She became the second wife of Pat DeSico, an agent for actors and alleged mobsters.
Fun.
Nice. They divorced in 45, had no children. She later alleged that DeSico was an abusive husband who called her Fatty Roo and beat her up.
Oh, Jesus.
He would take my head and bang it against the wall. I had black eyes.
Jesus.
I don't know. Yeah.
Sounds like a real winner.
Who knows what went on there. In 45, within weeks of divorcing DeSico, she married conductor Leopold Stokowski, who was 42 years older than her.
Oh, my.
He had 3 daughters from his previous marriage, from a concert pianist. And, all right, she was his 3rd and last wife. The marriage ended in divorce in 55, produced 2 kids. Vanderbilt's 3rd husband was director Sidney Lumet. She was the second of his 4 wives. They were married in 56, divorced in 63. They didn't have any kids. However, Vanderbilt's 4th marriage was with author Wyatt Emery Cooper in 63.
Aha.
Marriage lasted 15 years till his death in 78 when he was undergoing open heart surgery. They had 2 sons. Carter, who committed suicide. Anderson's brother committed suicide by jumping from his death from the family's 14th floor apartment.
Oy.
Yeah, and Anderson, born in 67. We all know he works for CNN.
We know him for sure. Mr.
I love him. He looks like a doll baby. He's very sweet.
He's so cute.
Isn't he? Vanderbilt had maintained a romantic relationship with photographer and filmmaker Gordon Parks for many years. Apparently, she's rumored to have been involved with Marlon Brando, Frank Sinatra, Howard Hughes, Roald Dahl. I don't know where that comes in, but all right.
Okay.
Yeah. She was very close friends with Diane von Furstenberg. I love some of her stuff too. Diane von Furstenberg was the first with the wrap dress.
Okay.
While appearing as a guest on her son Anderson Cooper's television talk show Anderson in 2011, Vanderbilt referred to comedian and actress Kathy Griffin as her fantasy daughter. Truman Capote, you're going to love this,
Truman Capote
was speculated to have modeled Holly Golightly from Breakfast at Tiffany's on her.
Okay.
But others said it was based on her friend Carol Grace, but it was somebody from that circle.
Okay.
She was an artist. She celebrated her 90th birthday with a collection of her drawings, paintings, and collages that was on display at a gallery in New York Design Center, an exhibition called The Left Hand is the Dreamer. She died at a home in Manhattan, 2019, 95, stomach cancer.
Aww.
She's buried next to her son Carter and her late husband Wyatt in the Cooper plot in the Vanderbilt family cemetery in Staten Island.
Okay.
Upon her death, Gloria left her son Anderson almost her entire estate, which is like $1.5 million, which I think is Vanderbilt chump change.
Yeah,
they
like
went through.
They went through it all. There's no really
so
wealthy
like he needs her money, but
yeah.
very very colorful women. When you have these powerhouses, right? Mm-hmm. You know, they're rich, crazy, famous, powerful women. More power to them.
Yeah, get it, girl.
You know, you got it, flaunt it.
Get it,
right? But that was my claim to fame. She was lovely. I mean, you know, for the whole, you know, hot second that I met her. But she was just nice to everybody.
That's wonderful, though.
There wasn't anybody. She like took the time. Thank you for coming. She was just a class act.
Makes you wonder, would Alva have been that way? Probably.
I don't think so. Alva, you know, probably would have had the horsewhip and got to get off the line. You're holding up the line.
Yeah, probably.
So.
Yeah.
And that was our lovely episode of Crazy Rich
Vanderbilt Women.
There you go.
Well, to be crazy and rich.
Maybe we will. You know, you never know.
There's plenty of time.
You know, we have plenty. Well, we're already crazy. That I can attest for.
Yeah, we're not a little nuts.
You know, Rich Vanderbilt. I don't know.
I don't want to be a Vanderbilt per se, but I'll take the rich part.
I've been to the Vanderbilt cottage mansion in Long Island. Obviously, the one here. Yeah. I came up to this one as a kid. Oh, and apparently, my uncle, God rest him, brought me up here as a kid. And apparently it made an impression on me because I live in spitting distance from it.
Yeah.
But I remember going there, you know, with gold in the walls, and it had an elevator and all, you know, for the time, and walking around. Even now, I still walk around. I picnic there, and it's just,
I have a ghost story with that elevator. I don't know. I do. I should save it for another day.
Okay, if you want to hear the ghost elevator Vanderbilt story, that'll be coming up.
Sure.
Soon.
Yeah,
we'll do that. That'll be another
we should
when
do
we
a
do
ghost story episode.
Let's do a ghost story. We're going to do a ghost story episode. And Breathers, anything else that you want to hear, please let us know. Shannon and I take requests.
And my friend Michael, who's a fellow history buff, he wants to be on the show.
Fabulous.
He actually wants to talk about a very famous musician. And I think he's ready. I think he wants to come and join us.
Fabulous.
Fabulous. Yeah,
okay. So, that would be lovely. Anybody else want to join?
Anybody else? Yeah. You can contact us, you know.
Contact us. You can, if there's somebody you want us to do some research on. Yeah. If you want to come and join the show, we'd love feedback.
We do. As a matter of fact, if you want to contact us, I can give you an email right now. Favoritedeadpodcast@gmail.com. you can email us and let us know. Is there somebody that you would like us to research and talk about?
Or do you want to come on the show and hang out with us?
Or do you want
get feedback? Or
anything?
Or do you plan on killing somebody that once you kill them and they're not breathing,
we can talk about
we can talk about them. So you let us know. Everything is on the hush.
Dead men
Because Dead Men Tell No Tales. See,
That's
now
right.
there you go.
That should be
there
our
you
tagline.
go. Really. Dead Men Tell No Tales.
Well, breathers.
All right.
Thanks for listening.
All right. Have fun. Stay safe. Stay living. Stay above ground.
Yes.
And we will join you again for another episode of All My Favorite People Are Dead. See ya.
Bye.
Feeling now we all end up in the grave. All my favorite people are dead.